we're at a critical time around the world. We can see what's happening in Israel, the escalation of violence that I never believed I would have seen under President Trump. And I'm not saying this because of President Trump versus Biden, but maybe it is. Because President Trump's policy with Israel was to treat Israel as they are, a true ally of the United States of America, and not step back and just allow the Middle East and our Israeli ally to face the wrath of their enemies that are around them. And it's horrible. It's something that we should all be concerned about. Israel is our only true ally in the Middle East. And we see the rise of anti-Semitism in the United States. You know that my foundation, the Dark Wire and Investigation Foundation, is fighting that. We're fighting hate. We're fighting anti-Semitism. But it deals with Israel. I want you to listen to Rashida Tlaib, congressional member Rashida Tlaib, her, Ilhan Omar, and the others. And by the way, the Biden administration are not friends of Israel. They are not friends of Israel at all. I want you to hear Rashida Tlaib. And by the way, put something in your ears because she is screaming like a banshee. And it gave me the worst headache the first time I heard this. But listen.
Our freedom is interconnected with Black, brown, indigenous. It is connected. What they are doing to the Palestinian people is what they continue to do to our Black brothers and sisters here, to the immigrant community here, and enough. So I want you to know this. As you are marching for freedom of Palestine, please know that you must be marching for everybody's freedom. It is all interconnected. And so this is how you grow this movement. This is how you spread the truth. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Salam.
It's all lies. I want you to tell you, remember the Benjamin's baby? Wasn't that what Ilhan Omar said? You know, this is anti-Semitism wrapped up in this disguise as like, we're against Israel. Look at what's happened to Israel. Hamas and Hezbollah, I believe terrorist organizations, full terrorist organizations, just bombarding Israel. Israel having to use its Iron Dome to protect itself. And you know what Hamas and Hezbollah do? They basically put children and women and whoever, or they put the missiles and they put all of their weapons in schools and then go, hey, Israel, what are you going to do about that? They use women and children as human shields. So when Israel retaliates and then there's a death, it's all crocodile tears. I feel terrible for the children and for the Israeli people, for the Palestinian children, for whoever. I feel terrible for anybody that loses their life in a war or in this hate that has been brewing for however thousands of years. But let me tell you this. The Israeli people have a right to defend themselves. They have a right to protect their families and their children. They have a right to not be attacked by their enemies, and they have a right to exist. End of story. Sorry if you don't want Israel to exist. Sorry if you're anti-Semitic. By the way, for all of you out there, when Jenny Taylor wrote these stories, a very proud and I think one of the greatest people I've ever worked with, Jenny works with me. I don't even say she works for me. I say she works with me. Jenny Taylor is amazing. She's always on the ball, getting stories out, working 24/7. And she's very proud to be Jewish. And when she put out those tweets, and there were people out there that threatened her life on Twitter, threatened to poison her, asked her how Jewish she was, I was disgusted. You do that. I am reporting you. You threaten someone's life, someone who works for me, and I will report you over and over and over again. And you know what, FBI, you better be doing your job. That is a direct threat. That is a direct threat.